Imagine lying on a table under a bright light. Someone puts a mask over your face. They ask you to count backward from 10, 10, 9, 8, and then nothing. No dream, no darkness you're aware of, no passage of time. You simply stop existing for a while. When you open your eyes, it's over. Hours have passed. Your body has been opened, repaired, and closed again. And you felt none of it. Think about the trust that takes. You handed a stranger complete control of your consciousness. You let them switch you off. And some part of you never doubted you'd wake back up. That trust is one of the most modern things about you. Because for almost the entire history of our species, that mask didn't exist. The countdown didn't exist. The mercy of not being there didn't exist. If your body needed to be opened, you were awake for every second of it. Here's the part people get wrong. They assume surgery is new. That before modern medicine, no one cut into the body at all. That's not true. Humans have been performing surgery for thousands of years. We have skulls, tens of thousands of years old, with neat holes drilled into them. And here's the unsettling part. Many of those skulls show healing around the hole, which means the patient survived and lived for years afterward. People were cutting into skulls, setting shattered bones, removing stones from inside the body, cutting away growths, amputating crushed limbs, long before anyone could take the pain away. So sit with the real question, not how did they operate? They clearly could. The question is, how did anyone survive being awake for it? Because that was the reality. The patient was conscious, fully aware, feeling everything. And the surgeon had to work anyway. In a world without anesthesia, a surgeon had exactly one gift to offer: speed. The faster the operation, the less time the patient spent in agony, and the more likely they were to survive the shock of it. So surgeons train for speed the way athletes train for it. The best of them could remove a leg in well under a minute. Not because they were careless, because every extra second was a second of something no one should have to endure. Reputation was built on the stopwatch. A great surgeon wasn't the most precise. A great surgeon was the fastest. And think about what that meant for the patient in the room. You weren't hoping for a gentle doctor. You were hoping for a fast one. Now picture the setup itself. There was no drifting off. You were placed on the table wide awake. Strong assistants were positioned around you, not to comfort you, but to hold you down, because your body would fight. No amount of willpower keeps a person still through that. The instinct to pull away is older than thought. So you were held, and the work began while you were fully present for it. We focus on the operation itself, but the cruelest part often came before. Imagine being told you need surgery and being told the date. For most of history, that was close to hearing a sentence read aloud. You knew exactly what was coming. You knew you would be awake. You knew there would be no escape once you were on the table. And you had days, sometimes weeks, to sit with that knowledge. People wrote letters before operations the way soldiers write them before battle. Some patients offered surgery that might save them, chose to die instead. Not because they didn't want to live, because the operation frightened them more than death did. Read that again. There were people for whom dying slowly felt like the safer, kinder option. That is the world anesthesia replaced. And most of us have never once thought about it. It's not that no one searched for an answer. Humans spent thousands of years trying to dull the pain. They tried alcohol, pouring it into the patient until the world blurred. They tried opium and plants like mandrake and henbane that could push someone toward a heavy, dangerous sleep. They tried cold, packing a limb in ice until it went numb. They tried pressure, compressing the nerves to deaden a region. They even tried simply knocking a patient unconscious, which is as brutal and unreliable as it sounds. And in some times and places, these things help a little. But none of them truly worked. Here's why. Every one of these methods lived on a knife's edge. The dose that dulled the pain was dangerously close to the dose that stopped the breathing. Too little, and the patient felt everything. Too much, and they never woke up. With crude plants and raw alcohol, you couldn't measure that line. You could only guess. So for thousands of years, pain relief and poisoning were almost the same act, separated by an amount no one could reliably control. Now, here's where the story turns strange. The solution to one of humanity's oldest agonies didn't come from a battlefield, or a great hospital, or a famous laboratory. It came, in part, from entertainment. In the early 1800s, certain gases became a form of amusement. People would inhale them at parties and public shows to feel giddy, floaty, and numb. They called them things like laughing gas. And at these events, something kept happening that nobody took seriously. People under the gas would stumble, crash into furniture, injure themselves, and feel nothing. They'd look down later and find a bruise or a cut they had no memory of getting. The clue was right there, in plain sight. For years, a substance that let a person be injured without feeling the injury. The single thing surgery had been missing for all of human history was being breathed in for fun by people who had no idea what they were holding. A few people finally made the connection. A dentist began wondering if the gas that numbed a party guest could numb a patient in a chair. He tried it, and when he attempted to show the world in front of a room of doctors, it went wrong. The dose wasn't right. The patient cried out. The audience laughed him out of the room. He was humiliated, but he wasn't wrong. He was just early. Not long after, another man tried a different substance, a vapor called ether. And on one morning in 1846, in a crowded operating theater in Boston, he was given a chance to prove it. A patient breathed in the vapor and slipped away from the pain. The surgeon cut. The patient didn't move, didn't cry out, didn't fight. When it was over, the surgeon turned to the stunned room and, according to the accounts, told them plainly that this was no trick. In that single moment, something that had defined human suffering for 190,000 years quietly ended. What happened next is almost hard to believe. News of that morning spread across the world in a matter of months, which, for the era, was breathtaking speed. Within a year, surgeons on other continents were using the same idea. A new vapor, chloroform, soon joined it, and was used to ease the pain of childbirth, which had its own long history of being simply endured. A word was even invented for the new state, a name for this borrowed absence, this switching off of sensation. For the first time, a patient could be genuinely, reliably spared. The held-down table, the race against the stopwatch, the letters written in fear, all of it began to fade into history faster than almost any change in medicine before it. You would think the story ends here. Problem solved. Humanity defeats one of its oldest torments. Except it didn't end here, because taking away the pain created a brand new problem that no one saw coming. Think about what pain had secretly been doing all those centuries. It had been a limit, a brutal, unwanted limit, but a limit all the same. A conscious, screaming patient can only endure so much. So surgery had boundaries. Operations stayed short. Surgeons stayed near the surface of the body. Certain regions were simply too deep, too slow to reach, to attempt on someone who was awake. Pain kept surgery cautious. Now, remove it. Suddenly, the patient lies perfectly still. There's no screaming to race against, no struggling body to hold down. The surgeon can take their time. They can go deeper, attempt more. Open parts of the body no one had dared to enter before. And they did. Surgery grew bolder almost overnight. But here's the trap. While anesthesia had arrived, something else had not. No one yet understood infection. Surgeons operated in ordinary clothes with unwashed hands and instruments that were never truly clean. They moved from patient to patient carrying invisible death on their fingers, with no idea they were doing it. So follow the grim logic. Painless surgery meant longer surgery. Longer, deeper surgery meant bigger wounds, open for more time, reaching further into the body. And every one of those wounds was exposed to a danger no one could see. Historians describe wards where infections spread from patient to patient, where the very success of an operation was followed days later by a fever that killed. For a period, the boldness anesthesia unlocked ran far ahead of anyone's ability to keep a wound clean. The pain was gone, but the dying, in some places, did not stop. It simply changed its cause. This is the part almost no one tells you. The miracle didn't arrive complete. Anesthesia solved one half of the problem, and for a couple of decades, quietly widened the other half. The rescue came from a different direction entirely. A surgeon began to suspect that the deaths weren't bad luck or bad air, but something being carried into the wound. Something alive, too small to see. He started insisting on cleanliness, washing hands, cleaning instruments, treating the wound itself against the invisible thing attacking it. And the deaths began to fall. Only then, with pain removed and infection finally understood, did the two halves lock together. Anesthesia let the surgeon work. Cleanliness let the patient survive it. Neither one alone was enough. It took both to build a surgery you now take completely for granted.